To week 13 of mobile application portfolio, mobile app portfolio. Part one, we're going to be talking about how to pitch today. This is week 13, and we're going to be talking about how to pitch and how to present our apps since next week on our last day of classes in this semester, you're going to be presenting to me and to the program coordinator. So, it's going to be roughly 15 minutes, 10 to 20 minutes. It's a shared presentation, so you and your team are going to each share the workload on this, and we're going to go through some pointers today on how to stay, focused and what to cover this presentation. Okay, so just to start it off with a little cartoon, fun. So we're talking about pitches. So you can read this on your own here. Elevator pitch. All right, so who knows what a pitch is? Does someone want to try to explain what a pitch is in business?
Basically trying to sell your idea to a potential investor or employer or whatever it might be.
And they can vary. So that's a great explanation. Thanks, Tom. They can vary from, being like 30 or 60 seconds to 5 minutes, 10 minutes. And basically, you want a really well articulated description of who you are and your company, what you're doing, value that you're creating, right? Because that's what they want to see. Whoever you're pitching to, investor, customer, whatever, they want to see what's in it for them. And if you need something, if you're asking for money, right, as an investor, then you need to specify I'm asking for $5,000 for 10% of my money, and so on. Now, who has seen Shark Tank, or Dragon's Den, shows like that? Show of thumbs. Nice. So those shows, basically, the people will walk in and they'll give their pitch, right? So they explain like for the equity they're willing up in return for money, and then what they do as a company, what's the problem, what do they solve. So in terms of purpose of the pitch and what you want to talk about, trying to raise money in some cases or close a deal, you want to ensure that they understand what you're talking about. So you're trying to inform and explain, educate, or persuade, or maybe even sell. It just depends who you're talking to, right? So it all depends on your audience. It could be investors, stakeholders, partners, general public, it totally depends. Now, there's different types of pitches, like I was saying earlier. So an elevator pitch is, typically something that's very short. The elevator, if you'd like to hear a really cool example of an elevator pitch, there's a podcast called Startup on Spotify. It's free, and it's all about this guy starting up his own business, and he meets this billionaire, and they're out for dinner or something, and then on the side of the street, by some subway car going by, he decides to do his elevator pitch in like 2 minutes, and it goes terribly. Then the billionaire investor gives him some really good advice. So it's a really cool podcast. It's called Startup, and that's kind of a good example of what an elevator pitch might be. You run into someone, you're in an elevator, and you just give your little spiel, 2 minutes. Then there's a formal pitch, which is like you're invited down to headquarters, you're executives, you give your pitch. All right, so depending on the audience and depending who you're talking to, kind of influences the amount of time that you are spending on your pitch. So, if you're in an elevator, obviously, or if it's just a random networking connection at some event, 30 to 90 seconds. If you're actually talking to investors at a formal pitch, you can be a little bit longer, down around the 10-minute mark. Okay. So we've got 4 people here. We're going to do a little exercise. Okay. In groups of 2s, I'll start a little breakout room, and then I'll post the instructions in the chat for both of you. Actually, I'll post them now, but I'll share my screen first. In groups of 2, so it'll just randomly divide the 2 of you. I'll give you guys 5 minutes. You're going to select a business idea. It can be the business idea that you're currently working on. Or if you guys are in different groups, it could be a business idea from another class, or you can just come up with something on the spot. It can be anything. It doesn't have to, it can be made up, it can be fake. Just come up with something. And in 5 minutes, you're going to have a spokesperson to introduce your business idea. You're going to kind of follow this template. Hi, I'm the owner of. What I do for my customers is blank. I do this by fill in the blank. I am of whatever your business. So the main points you're wanting to cover, and I'll paste this in the chat now if you want to copy and paste it for your own reference over the next 5 minutes together. This little activity is you want to introduce your name and company name. You want to talk about the problem, okay, that you're solving. Did that get chat? Yeah, it did. You want to cover the problem. You want to talk about the solution. Talk about who benefits, how they benefit, how you make money, and then what you've done so far. So you can make this up, because obviously, like for the apps that we're making in semester 1, you've actually sold anything, you don't have any figures, you don't have any projections. So just make some stuff up and try to do this pitch in 90 seconds. I'm going to get my timer out. Okay, so you have 5 minutes to prepare until 3:15. I'll get my timer out, and then I'll cut you guys off when we do a little practice here. So I'll stop sharing my screen, little breakout room, and then you guys, any questions before we actually split off?
Oh.
Sweet. All right, let's try this, and we'll see how easy or how difficult it is.
Yes.
Okay, perfect. So I'll start my timer at 90 seconds. I'll cut you off. So remember, I'll share my screen so you can kind of have this note up if it helps you. PowerPoint. But you guys can start whenever, and then I'll just hit the timer whenever.
Okay, I guess we're ready. So our company is a NFT mobile application. It's called NFT Exchange. The big problem that we're trying to solve is right now there's no mobile application on the market for buying and selling NFTs. NFTs are non-fungible tokens. It's a way of, I'm not going to get into that right now. For NFTs, basically, there's a lot of websites where you can buy and sell them, but there isn't a mobile app right now. The other issue that's a big problem right now in the industry is all the transactions are being done with a cryptocurrency called Ethereum, and it's a very high transaction cost every time you use it, and it's hurting the market. So for our elegant solution, what we're trying to do is we're designing a mobile application that will allow for NFT transactions, and we will also be using a different cryptocurrency than Ethereum to offer lower transaction costs. The benefit will be felt by the artists who create NFTs, as they will have more people interested in their work with the lower transaction costs. And we also feel that they'll have more traffic being driven towards their work because they'll have the mobile application available. The way that we'll be making money off this is by charging transaction fees on all sales. And we'll also be using a freemium platform to allow for advertising and for boosting where your artwork shows up on the website. So to this point, so far, we've created an app prototype. We've been in contact with several different cryptocurrency creators to talk about which platforms might be the best for efficiency and for cost effectiveness. And what we're asking for today is for $100,000 for 10% of our company in order to expand the app development and create an advertising campaign to generate interest from local NFT artists. Thank you very much.
Okay. I was going to cut you off, but you were so close to being done, I didn't want to. So I got 149, so 20 seconds over, but very good. That was great. Any feedback from Akshay and Harshit on that? What do you guys think?
No, it's good.
No feedback at all. I actually thought that was really great. You covered everything. I think you had like a little point in your head where you're like, oh, NFTs are, and then you're like, oh no, there's no way I have time
Yeah, exactly.
in 90 seconds. So
that was all
and
Dak's idea though, so credit to him.
yeah, no, great idea. And that sounds like actually a really cool thing. And the way you did your problem solution, it's like, oh yeah, that does sound like a problem. Oh, you good solution for it. Great. And it's wild how fast the 90 seconds goes by, right? I think that's what the point of this exercise is really trying to show you is, for that 90-second elevator pitch, it's actually like quick. So you need to like hit your points very quickly to stay on track. But you did a good job. Awesome. Akshay and Harshit, whoever your spokesperson is, feel free to take it away, and I'll start the timer.
Okay, I will present it. And 3, 2, 1, start.
Can't hear you.
Sorry. I will start again.
Okay, yeah. Whenever you start going, I'll just hit the timer button. So whenever you're ready.
Okay, so yes, we can start.
Okay.
I'm Harshit Modi, and I'm presenting my crop predict idea along with Akshay. We are basically a company which works on the motto of giving back to the society more than we have taken from the mother nature. The sole purpose of our business is that we can uh, uh, predict the how will we how will be the yield of this year, and what will be the future of growing certain particular crops in a particular region. So the idea starts with that we will gather the data of the previous 20 years, and we will use the latest technology to predict the upcoming weather, like how harsh will the winter be, or how much rainfall it is predicted for the upcoming trimester, so that we can assess the situation, and we can with the help of the quality of the soil and the minerals in the soil, we can predict that what minerals and what crops should be yield. The main benefits would be farmers. Certain nations who do not have all the resources like water, land, and sunlight for farming, so they have to import other users and customers. They will subscribe to the service on a renewal base. till now we have created the prototypes,
Right.
and
That is
we will.
time. That's 1 minute 30. That's 90 seconds. How much longer do you feel you needed to finish?
Hardly a sentence, like created
Okay,
a
go for it.
prototypes and invest in research module. So we would like to get an angel investor to so that we can invest in our research module.
Okay, awesome. Sorry, I didn't know that you only had one sentence left. I would have let you go. Cool. Very good. Okay. So do you feel like do you feel the time pressure from that?
Yes.
Yeah, definitely. It sneaks up on you for sure. Tom, Akshay, or Daksh, do you guys have anything? What did Harshit do well on his pitch?
So his slogan was pretty uh, understandable by everyone. Like it, like it, it, like they give purpose to the cause for the app and to the persons, like for the farmers. So that's good.
Totally. I think it's just something everyone can relate to, right? Is weather.
Yeah,
Everyone knows what it is. Yeah, it's good. Yeah,
Thought it was
easy to
really
understand.
clear explaining a problem and kind of how you were going to tackle the solution. I thought that was really good.
yeah, the emotional touch. Yeah.
And then, how about anything you guys think would maybe improve, something he could do to make it even better?
I guess with the time crunch, maybe less examples and more just getting more point form, I guess.
That's a good one. Yeah, it can be easy to like do multiple examples, but if you pick like your best example, hit that, and then you can keep moving, hit your next point. Yeah, that's great. Awesome, guys. So I'm going to show you a video now. You can tell me, does the sound come through? I might have to reshare my screen. Can you hear
No,
that?
no sound, no.
No sound. Okay. I will stop sharing. I'll show you this pitch that CEO of Salonix. So, screen. Go. Should be able to. All right, and just pay attention to the problem. Well, first of all, I want you to notice a couple things. What does she do to get the audience's attention? How does she introduce the problem and the solution? And then notice how quickly she moves from point to point, and then her big ask at the end, right? So pay attention. There's a couple things there.
Hello, I'm Gayleen Anderson, CEO of Salonix. Up in Idaho, we love our potatoes. However, the number one problem in the potato industry is that when you eat potato products, your blood sugar spikes. Well, we've solved that. The University of Idaho has patented the best method to improve the way that your body digests potato sugars. We'll use this process to manufacture novel dehydrated potato ingredients that have a wide variety of applications. These ingredients will be used in products that range from French fries to desserts, and they have 4 main health benefits. They're going to reduce your glycemic index, reduce your weight, improve the way your body absorbs key minerals, and act like a natural prebiotic. We've been working with Simplot for the past year, testing these ingredients on a pilot scale in their products, and they're committed as our lead investor. Salonix is looking for a $2.5 million investment to help us set up our operations and roll out our first products. If you'd like to learn more about the healthier French fry, come see one of our Salonix members tonight. And I'd like to say on a personal note that I've been in tech transfer at universities for 10 years, and this is the first product that's made me want to leave academia and start this company. At Salonix, we're making better food for healthier living. Thank you.
Right. What did you guys think of that?
Impressive.
Yeah,
Pretty
you can tell
solid.
she's practiced
Yeah.
quite a lot, right?
Multiple examples. Good thing to go.
Totally, yeah. What else did you notice?
The potato in her hand.
That's a good way to get someone's attention, right? Big
Yeah, I
potato.
think the potato in her hand made the good entry of the thing, like the whole concept, which attracted all her audience.
Totally. Yeah. It was like it's what we call the hook, right? You have something right away to bring them in. And now they're like, oh, potatoes, right? So something that's maybe out of the ordinary, something that's like a crazy statistic, or something that's very interesting that makes them want to like pay attention, right? If you just start with like, okay, so anyways, we're gonna get into, right, and then it's just like bored, sleep. Anything else you guys notice?
The ending was also good. Like she ended on a good note.
Yeah. Yeah, she hit her big ask there for the 2.5 million. She says that they've been working for a year with prototypes, and then she had a really nice personal touch, actually, I thought, that makes it feel more close to home, which is like, oh wow, she really believes in this. There's that passion, right? Totally. Oh, was someone else going to say something? I didn't want to catch. Okay, so this is for homework. You don't have to do this now, but in your actual groups, try to do a 15-minute planning this time instead of 5, and build that 90-second pitch for your business idea, and see if you can get a good template started for that. The thing that's hard is the shorter the pitch is, the longer it takes to nail down and practice and plan, right? Because you're trying to squeeze so much into such little time. So here's just a slide, what it is, what it isn't. It's not a sales pitch, okay? It's actually pitching your business and what you're doing for your customers. It's pitching what you solve as a problem, what was the problem, and how you solved it, okay? So it's a nice simple description of your idea, and by the time you get up to 3 floors in the elevator, that's an elevator pitch, right? That's like the 30 to 60 second. Goals, you want to connect people with your business. You want them who don't know your industry to now understand it, them to understand how you're filling that need, them to actually support your business. You want them to invest, right? So must-haves, interesting opening, okay? So that hook, that potato, it must immediately grab the interest of the audience. You need to have passion with what you're talking about, so you could tell she really cared about what she was doing. And obviously keep to your time. Don't take too long to get to the problem point, okay? You want to hit that right away, or else you're going to lose their attention. So if you notice with her, we can go back and watch it again. She says the potato thing, the hook, and she goes right away in saying the problem with these. Within the first 10 seconds, she addresses the problem. Just watch this.
Hello, I'm Gayleen Anderson, CEO of Salonix. Up in Idaho, we love our potatoes. However, the #1 problem in the potato industry is that when you eat potato products, your blood sugar spikes.
Just like that. 10 seconds, she's already said your blood sugar spikes. That's the #1 problem. Okay? So you don't want to take the first 30, 40, 50 seconds to get there, or else people aren't going to understand what's your direction, what's your purpose as a company, what's your story, okay? And speaking of stories, your pitch will have a story, okay? It has a beginning, has a middle, and each of those have their own pieces. So the beginning is that hook, your introduction and company name, the problem, and what the solution is. The middle is the benefits, how you benefit your customers, how you make money, what you've done so far. And then the end, obviously, if you're doing a longer presentation, get into who your competition is, your partnerships, some milestones. But if you're doing a short elevator pitch, then you just close. You summarize, you make your ask for whatever you're wanting investment, say thank you for listening or thank you. Okay? The hook is what grabs that attention. Have you ever, or potato joke, whatever. Yeah, here's just some bullet points just to kind of put all of those things that I just talked about into the story. So you have your beginning, you have your middle, and you have down here with your tagline. Right? Keep it simple. You don't want to make it overcomplicated. You don't want to get into the description of what NFTs are in your pitch, maybe. Maybe in a pitch that's a little longer, you could get a brief description, but the people who are investing don't need to understand the technology itself. They want to know that it's going to make them money, right? They want to know that there's room for profit or room for customer growth. So you don't need to say, C# code, this, that, and the other thing, right? So that's actually one of the next tips coming up here is the language that you choose to use. You want it to be able to be understood by a fifth grader, basically. You want it to be in simple language that can get them excited about it, even if they have no idea what that area of the market's like. You know, say like when they go into Shark Tank or Dragon's Den, the billionaires, some of them are billionaires in fashion, some of them are billionaires in the food industry. And they'll sometimes say like, hey, I'm from the food industry. I have no idea if your tech product is good or not, but the numbers you've shown are incredible, right? So you want to be able to reach out to people outside of specialized industry and get them on board. Practice makes perfect. Always face the audience. So just these are little things to keep in mind for next week. You know, if you're gonna have your cameras on and be presenting to me and Rob, be smiling, you want to be energetic and have passion. You want your slides to be professionally designed or look good. You want to face the camera, obviously, and speak clearly. And for your slides, you want to keep 18 to 24 point font, no more than 5 or 6 points per slide, or else it gets a little cluttered. Don't use really complex charts, and pictures are actually worth 1,000 words, right? Here. Yeah, tell that story that I was talking about. Choose a nice font too. Things to avoid: spelling mistakes on your PowerPoints, not paying attention to your audience, massive text slides or talking to the slides versus like, now that's more of an in-person tip, right? Like if you have your slides here and you're facing away, saying because I'm away. Whereas if my slides are behind me and I have them memorized, or I have like a little monitor here, it's the audience, right? You don't want to spend more than 20% of your time on any particular. So when you explain the problem, the solution, and how it helps people, to move in even. You also don't want to say like a statement that's not true. Like, oh, there's no competition. Like that's not true. There's competition in every market, so you don't want to be naive. This is what I was going to talk about earlier, avoiding geek speak. So what that means is you don't want to say, for example, we provide non-penetrable debridement medical equipment technology node excision by integrating our new 4851-bit encryption algorithm that is a 245-bit Dorland operator. That means nothing to most people. What you would want to say is we allow medical professionals to operate on cancer patients using the least invasive equipment on the market. Right? That sounds way more understandable, and kind of get behind that. I can say that's a good thing, right? Cool. And obviously time yourself per slide. So when you are practicing, you can set up a little timer and realize how much time it takes per slide to do something, and just practice. So for next week, obviously coming up, this is what this is preparing you. Any questions on that slide in particular before I move to the next little PowerPoint?
No, everything is good, Professor.
We have to present our application idea, means the group project which we are doing, or any separate idea.
Yeah, so it's the group project. So what you came up with a group. So the 3 groups. You know, you're doing poker app, the gym app, or is it Pitch Venture?
Yeah, pitch venture.
So those ones will be, no worries, Sandeep, that's all good. So yeah, you're going to be making a pitch and a demo for next week for me and Rob. And I will be actually grading you on it. It'll be kind of the same thing as like a sprint demo, but it's like a more professional version. It's going to be all cleaned up, and you guys are going to have your points memorized, and it's going to be really, I mean, most of you, to be honest, have been doing a really good job so far for all of your sprint demos, but this one, you know, just be like that extra little polish that'll make it stand out. Good question, though. All right. So we've got about 10 slides in this one. We'll just go through quickly, and then I'll let you guys go for the day so you can kind of prepare your presentations for next week, and, you know, testing you need to do. But So we've covered the pitch, right? That 90-second or 5-minute pitch. And now I want to talk to you about the demo. So you're gonna pitch your app. You're gonna tell us about the problem and the solution. Now you don't have to limit yourself to 90 seconds next week. I think it's good to have a 90-second format if you ever need it in the future, or just to be able to get good at doing it in 90 seconds so that you're comfortable with performing under pressure. But I think next week it's totally fine. The presentation is going to be roughly 50 minutes, I'm hoping, minimum 10, maximum 20 kind of thing. Stay in that range. You can take your time by all means next week, but use the same tips of creating that story. Have a hook. Stay professional. Keep your eye contact on the person, not the slides.
So
Yeah. Oh, sorry.
I have a question.
Yeah.
Yeah. So like in the in that pitch, there is a forward like we opening story, middle story, and end story. Means three parts. So like how we have four people. So how will we divide our things into that?
Oh, I know what you're talking about. So beginning, middle, end. Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. So just because there's three parts, beginning, middle, end, the end is literally like 1 or 2 sentences. Well, maybe not actually, because you'll probably talk about competition and milestones or stuff like that. A couple ideas of things you can add, and I'm not going to limit you. You can be completely creative freedom with what you share during your presentation. But a couple things that I've mentioned you can add. I'll show you the assignment details in a second. I've mentioned you can add like problems you've overcome, things you've learned, roadblocks that you've encountered during your this app. You could add things like how I've learned to work in a high-performing team, how I've found communication to how I found the communication. Is it good? Is it bad? Etc. So there'll be more than 4 parts in the presentation, and I think actually if it's 15 or 20 minutes, if each person spoke for 2 to 3 minutes twice, right, or 5 minutes all in one chunk, then sharing the work.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Does that make sense?
Yes. Absolutely.
So it's okay to be nervous. Don't worry about it. Hopefully you don't deal with your nerves the same way this guy is, obviously. Got this, okay? So how do you pull off great demo presentation? Okay, why are we doing a demo presentation? Well, it's a really powerful tool for running and growing your business, and it allows clients, investors, professors, program coordinators, potential customers to see and feel how things will be better for them, your solution. If you're pitching remote, which we are, do your recording beforehand. So practice on Teams maybe once this next week and run through with PowerPoint a couple times to make sure that shares very nice. It looks crystal clear. The images don't appear fuzzy. Microphone isn't broken. Practice looking into your camera. Have a neutral background. So you'll notice my office, you can't really see anything that would be too distracting to you. There's a door, there's maybe a picture frame down there, but I don't have a lot going on, so you're always going to be focused up here. You could also use green screen from Zoom or whatever that comes in automatic. But yeah, look at your camera and then just relax, just have fun and do your best. It's nothing to be too nervous about. And then obviously preparing and practicing is going to be the best thing you can do. So start with a script, maybe bullet points, and outline what you want to cover, and try to stick, that story is kind of a template for you, that beginning, middle, and end, and then you can add stuff in the middle. Add stuff to the end where you want to talk about roadblocks or your team performance or how you feel you guys have performed as a team. Anything like that. I think anything you've learned is going to be incredibly valuable for me to hear as a teacher to you, and as well for him as a program coordinator to understand how the program's right? Make it logical, so the flow, don't want to say your solution and then your problem. It's the problem and then how you're going to solve it. So obviously use logic to organize how you're talking about the points you're going to cover. So you wouldn't ask for the money or whatever up front before introducing what the solution is. Keep each section short, so don't focus too long on any particular point. Remember that 20% rule, % of your time. And then practice and rehearse. So you don't want to be reading from the script next week when we do this. So you want to actually be able to have, just maybe if you use some bullet points, look over, and then it reminds you in your, right? Review how you want to present your app, okay, to the recording platform. So if you're going to screen share and it's going to demo, make sure that that's working and that it's actually, there are glitches or anything tech. Make sure you cover the key points about your app. So this is for the actual app demo portion. So you've talked about your company, what you do, what's your solution, and now introduce the app itself and give us a live demo during this. It's not a how-to instructional, it's a demo of your application to get users interested in it, right? So I mean, in a way, you can kind of show us how to use your app and what the functions spend time like giving us a tutorial on how the app works per se. More so give us a demo of how a user interact with that app and why that would benefit them. It's a good thing. And then when something's going to happen, when you're going to click something, don't say what's going to happen. Just say, as you can see by clicking, obviously you click it and it would show it. Like I said earlier, pictures speak 1,000 words. So sometimes it's better to say, as you can see by clicking this button, click it, and then whatever happens, happens. You don't have to describe it because that can just be ellipsis sometimes. Obviously, just use your... Okay, so for the structure of it, you know, there's your beginning, who you are, why you're here. Your middle part is the problem that you're solving, the solution that you plan to solve, and then the product. So you've set the stage, now you can show your app. Okay? Presentation is going to be, this is wrong, this should be 10 to 20, but I'll change it, I've tried. 10 to 20 minutes to present your app, and remember the flow, beginning, middle, end, summary, conclusion. And we want to see a full live demo of the app, and then also if you want to use some slides, 5 slides, 10 slides, whatever. Since it's only 15 minutes, if you use 10 slides, if you do the math on that, that's only like a minute per slide and then 5 minutes for your app. So a minute per slide is pretty quick. I typically spend 3 slides, so you might only need 5 or 6 really well put together slides. Remember, less is more, simplifying. So with that being said, good luck. I'll show you assignment details here. So this is where you're going to submit it. These are just a couple little pointers on top of what we've covered today already. So any material you use in the presentation, you'll just submit here. So if it's a PowerPoint, slide deck, Word doc, videos, if your app's on the Play Store, which it won't be, but was, or if you had like a link to a demo or prototype of your app, if you have a website that you guys use or WordPress, and if you did record your presentation and you wanted recording there, go for it. It's 10% of your final grade, and I'll be grading you based on your presentation skills. So the beginning, middle, end, that hook that you use. Do you capture our attention? Do you explain the problem, solution? Quality of your slides and materials, the quality of the app, right? Clear, concise ideas communicated through your presentation, what your problem was and how you solved it. Shared speaking points for each team member. So I don't want to see like half of the team is like super into it and they have this passion, and then like the person standing off to the side and they're like actually talk at all, right? I want everyone to be part of it, right? You're a team. And then did you convey your solution clearly? Did it intrigue the audience? So those are the main things I'm looking for. Obviously, if you want to add some things to your presentation, like what you've learned so far, how your team has been performing, and I think that'd be really awesome to see. But yeah, with that being said, that's all I've got for you guys today. So it's a nice short and sweet one as you prepare to present next week. If you have any questions, let me know and I'll answer them now. And know,
Could we get those PowerPoint slides in Blackboard that you presented today?
yeah, totally. I think they are.
That'd be great. Yeah, I just want to go over them with our team.
Totally. I'll post the video too if they want to watch this video first. 13. PowerPoints. Files. Let's do it now. I'll end this recording though. Any other questions?
How do we pass commands, like means over to some other guy? So how do we give them command of presenting?
Oh, I see. So like if you're
Yes.
sharing the screen,
Yeah, and means now my slide is done, and now I need to say that move to next slide. So means in the
yeah,
middle of
I think that's totally fine because you'll have one person who's in charge of the slide. And I think that's totally fine to have them controlling the slide. And then you can just say like, obviously if you practice it, they'll know when to hit it because you'll have your sentence that you finish for that slide. And then there'll be like a sort of a trigger phrase or a trigger sentence that will prompt him to click the next slide. And if he forgets, then you just say like, okay, next slide, please. And then.
okay.
Good question though. Yeah, it can be tricky sometimes when you're all remote. Obviously, if you're all in person, it's very easy. One person is there with you. Yeah.
In live presentation, we can do like hand movement or something. We can signal them, and they can change the slide.
Totally. Yeah, exactly. You can just like whisper at them or something. But this video will be posted, Sandeep, so you can watch the part you missed. No worries. These are just loading, Tom, but they'll be uploaded any second now. And then you will see, just one more thing, an announcement posted later today, just kind of covering what we covered today. Talking about how testing documents do. It's just a reminder. Thanks to those who attended class today. Please watch the recording to prepare your pitch. I said roughly 10 slides, but probably less, honestly. It should be around 15 minutes. Remember, we're not focusing on coding aspect, we're focusing on the problem solution aspect. So here's some tips and pointers for what you can include. And then I posted the team link to Meet. So it actually will be in Microsoft Teams next week with what we're presenting. So if you want to practice the platform, it's going to be in MS Teams. Okay. Cool. Well, the recording here, I think. Any other questions from you guys?